For the first time in my life, the women's movement has become a majority movement. We've reached a tipping point. This does not mean that a powerful minority might still not win, but it is a huge, huge difference. Now, what we were saying 40, 50 years ago is what the majority also supports.
So, my Gloria Steinem story goes back to 1976, actually. And in 1976, right here at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, I was elected as a Massachusetts delegate to the first women's conference held by the federal government. So in 1976, women from all over the country met in Houston. We had a huge conference to talk about what a woman's Bill of Rights should look like. And in 1976, I was organizing around those issues. I worked with the Women's Center here at UMass Dartmouth. I helped found the Women's Center in New Bedford. So here I am, almost 50 years later. And I still am committed to the ideals of the women's movement, the need for the women's movement, that as women we do have to come together for equal rights, and that has always been something that I have worked for. So that's how really I began working with the women's movement and met Gloria Steinem at these conferences. And over the years, between Our Bodies and Ourselves and Sisterhood is Powerful and Universal, I've met Gloria on several occasions, and we have always reminded each other of our work in 1976 at the Women's Conference.
For me, I guess my Gloria Steinem memory is seeing Ms. magazines around my house growing up. Both my moms subscribed, so I grew up in a two-mom household, so big feminists, which meant that Ms. Magazine was a staple on our coffee table. And I guess for me as a working mother, I carry those lessons of kind of the, I don't know, modern day feminists of trying to balance the work and the family life, and so much more. And just that living in that struggle, and kind of always trying to navigate how you do everything really well as a woman.
Gloria has brought about change for all women of all colors.
So I think Gloria Steinem is an American hero. And usually when you think of American hero, you think of someone like John McCain or Neil Armstrong or Martin Luther King. I think Gloria Steinem gets overlooked because she's a woman, but she really started a dialogue about women's role in society that was long overdue. And for that, I think she belongs up in that pantheon of American hero status.
We were excited to bring Gloria Steinem to campus for our first ever fundraiser with the Women's Studies program and our Center for Women, Gender, and Sexuality. Actually, we were the Women's Resource Center then. And she came to campus and she did a big open meeting for the public in the auditorium. We filled the auditorium. And she sat with a panel of alums on the impact that women's studies or working at the Women's Resource Center had in their lives. And so she kind of played off of that that conversation that happened, which was fabulous. And then that night we had a dinner for her, and a ticketed dinner and a VIP reception. So I was able to kind of be her escort that day. She sat at my desk during her break, did a little bit of her email, and she gave a great talk on her research around Native American women really being the founders of feminism. So that I thought was great. I'm hoping that she talks about that again when she comes to the Z this month. And then I was lucky to attend a feminist intensive in New York with an organization called Soapbox, which is the speakers bureau that oversees Gloria. And this was a group of feminist teachers and educators who spent a week in New York City learning about different feminist organizations. And we get to have dinner with Gloria and Marsha Gillespie, who used to also work at the Ms. Foundation, at Ms. as well as the Ms. Foundation, and was an editor at Essence magazine, and talked with them about organizing and feminist activism, and what the world looks like now. And what excites me most, I think, about Gloria's impact on my life is that she seems to always have a sense of possibility about where we are in the world, and I think doesn't get trodden down by what's happening, that she still finds hope in the future of feminism.
So I think the question is, what does Gloria Steinem mean to me? And she embodies a vision for many people, many women in particular, particularly as a young person who doesn't know what opportunities are possible for them if they don't see someone like them attaining a particular career or a different path than what they see around them. It's really hard to break out and follow a dream. But Gloria Steinem provided for many women a vision and a hope that more is possible. With that just opens up a world of possibilities to a young person when they can remember this voice in their back of their mind that's encouraging them to wish for more, to dream for more.
What Gloria Steinem means to me is speaking truth to power. And, I have 2 biracial daughters. I think right now with the Me Too movement and what's happening, that she really was an icon and a beacon for women, speaking up and speaking truth. And I am so excited she's coming to New Bedford. I bought my tickets immediately upon learning she was coming here.
So Gloria Steinem, to me, has always been, in my mind, a pioneer of the feminist movement. Back to when I can remember, I believe a lot of my actions were that of a feminist. And when I first learned about her, I found myself to be very proud of my actions and thought to myself, I think Gloria would have been proud of me. One specific instance I think back to is when I was in 5th grade. And my teacher had asked our class to start thinking about a play that we were going to do around the holidays for our family. So we were given roles that we could audition for, so we could have our family and friends come in and have this Christmas play. And when they were distributed, there were only 2 opportunities for girls. And at that point, there were 3 times as many girls in our class. And I found that odd. I didn't understand why the same opportunity wasn't offered to all of us. Mind you, we weren't on Broadway, so I didn't think it was that important for it to be like role specific. So I pushed back, and after many conversations with my teacher and the principal, they opened up the opportunity for all of us to audition for any role. So I went on to audition for the Santa Claus role. Needless to say, I didn't get it, but I would attribute that to my underdeveloped acting skills. But I realized that it was important to me to have those same opportunities available to all of us. And I find that happened to me numerous times as a child, as a young adult, and it's continued on into my career. I always advocated to have the same opportunities, whether it be through sports, through school, after school activities, and professionally. As a mother of a young boy, I always want to showcase to him that we are equal and capable of anything a man can do. Right now I'm coaching his soccer team, and his exposure to playing soccer was watching me play as a young child. And I find that reinforcing all of those things through every outlet is very important. As women, as mothers, as professionals, it's our job and it's our duty to keep reminding ourselves and the world that we are deserving of every opportunity that's out there.
It's a shame of how, one of the signs in the latest protests was a gray-haired woman sitting on the side of the road going, I can't believe I'm still protesting this stuff. Like, I can't believe they're still protesting it either. There was a window in the 70s when we really thought we were making progress. When we got Roe v. Wade, when we ended the draft, when we elected Carter, when we got rid of Nixon, and it just looked like things were turning around. And then Reagan came and just stopped all that cold, and we've never recovered from that. But I brought my 16-year-old daughter, and she'd never really considered feminism because in her life, enough progress had been made that she hadn't ever felt like she was second-class citizen because she was a woman at that age, among her friends and whatnot. So ideas of feminism weren't really as strong because she never felt oppressed to begin with. But coming to hear Gloria open her eyes to a whole different world and a different way of looking at things, and I think it had a big impact on her later life. And she's a confident young woman, and never took any guff or never took a backseat to a man. And never played on her gender to get ahead in that way either. So, but I think coming to see Gloria and just listening to someone just so articulate and so thoughtful and saying such wonderful things, I think was really a great experience for my daughter.
So what does Gloria Steinem mean to the women's movement? She was before my time when she started, so when I was born, you know, I don't think I really found out about her until later in my life when I was starting to become interested in these issues. But she, you know, she was really the first person that had a conversation about issues like reproductive rights, wage equality, discrimination in the workplace. She was really the first person that brought that conversation out into the public. For that reason, I think she's an icon. I would say that, you know, at her time, just simply having a conversation about those things was revolutionary. Now, in our time, as we're sort of questioning, like, okay, what is the women's movement now? We're still having these conversations. So I think we need to, you know, the next phase, it's past time for the next phase. We have to take what Gloria started and bring it across the finish line.
I think we need to get rid of the shoulds. We don't have to worry about what we should do. We just need to do everything we can.